Welcome to Learn Jazz Drums. Today I'm going to talk about finger control, so actually using your fingers to manipulate the drumstick and how you can go about practicing this, because it's really important, especially if you want to have a looser touch on the drums. It's a thing I find a lot of students having trouble with. So the way I try to play the drums most of the time comes out of the Jeff Hamilton school, which comes out of the Mel Lewis school and the John Von Nolan school, and it's all about having a big sound on the drums and playing as loose as you can. So for example, when I play the ride cymbal, I'm usually doing it somewhat like this. So if you pay close attention, that's using a lot of finger in there as opposed to a lot of wrist. So a lot of times when I try to teach students this kind of dropping and catching on the cymbal, they don't really have finger control, so they can't really do it very well because they end up playing, with just these two fingers or something like that. And you'll find if you try to play loose like that with just those fingers, it's really tough to play consistently. So here's an exercise I like to do to practice finger control. So take your fulcrum, whatever you consider the fulcrum. Some people consider it the thumb and the first finger, some consider it thumb and middle finger, or all three, kind of this is a fulcrum. But basically, take just your first two fingers to start, thumb and first finger, and then try to do this motion with it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep the stick with the thumb, and then I'm rolling it essentially with my first finger. So now if I do it on a practice pad, and it's important to stay loose and notice that my thumb is also moving with the stick, and that's no problem, as long as I'm focusing on the first finger being the one that's actually driving it. And then from there, I just go down the line with each finger. So if you look, you're going to be somewhat like this. If you're really focusing on the fingers, this isn't exactly how I hold the stick when I'm playing. I'm not holding it out on the fingers like this, but it's how you do it for this exercise, just to practice and get some finger control down. And then from there, I'll work on the middle finger. So I'll keep the first two fingers on, and then I'm just going to start manipulating it with just my middle finger. So my middle finger is going like that to get the stick to move. And again, my thumb is also moving, but I'm making sure that it's not the one doing the work. It's my middle finger that I'm focused on here. And then the same, fourth finger. I usually try to just do first and then fourth, and take the middle finger off to make sure I'm not using it, but do whatever is comfortable for you. And then I'll do that same thing where basically just this is what's happening in my hand. My fourth finger is moving consistently at whatever speed. And then you take that on the stick, and then next you do the pinky. And the pinky is the hardest for everyone, including myself, and I still end up neglecting it a little bit, but it's important to practice it because, you want to be able to use all of your fingers and have them all be contributing to make sure you can play as fast as you want to play and also get the biggest sound that you possibly can. And then, same thing here, I'll move just my pinky, and you'll notice for your hand it may be different. For my hand, my fourth finger goes with it a little bit, and the only way to prevent that would add a lot of tension in my hand, so it's not really that important to me because I'm still loose and I'm making sure that the pinky is the one doing the work. And then you take that on the stick, so you're still balancing between thumb, first finger, and then pinky. Do that motion. And then you do that on a practice pad, and this one's pretty hard to do with keeping the other fingers off, but I'll do that for demonstration. Pretty uncomfortable. So with the pinky, I like to maybe just put all the fingers on, but then make sure that I'm only propelling the stick with my pinky. And then, as much as I've been saying that the thumb is not what's doing the work, you should practice the thumb too. Make sure that when you're with the first finger, you can push with the thumb a little bit to help out, because all of this is going to work together. So basically the motion looks like you're kind of rolling something in your hand. And you do this. And really my thumb, again, isn't doing a ton, but when I put the stick in there, it's actually going to help it balance a lot. So watch. Then do that on a practice pad. And then you incorporate it to your normal technique. So a little bit of wrist and a little bit of fingers. So then when I practice that and then I go to play a cymbal, if I want to play super loose, I have some control in my fingers over time that I built up. So this is just an exercise to specifically isolate this. It's like, for instance, if you really want big biceps and you go to the bicep curl machine. And if you've seen that machine, you basically lean over this big pad thing and then you lift this bar to make sure it's only isolating your biceps. You're not using your chest, you're not using any other muscles, and that's the exact point of this exercise. There's really no time that I would play the drums exclusively using my fingers and be thinking about playing like this, but this is just an exercise to help break it down for you if you find that your fingers are lacking, and you can practice like that with both hands. And traditional grip is a little bit different. It kind of really doesn't apply there, but for your right hand and when you're playing the cymbal, if you want to play it looser, it's really helpful to do this exercise to work on that. I hope this exercise was helpful, and maybe over time you can apply this so that you can have a looser technique or play a little bit faster using fingers. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm really curious to see if this was helpful for you. And make sure you subscribe to this channel because I come out with a new video every single week. And also hit that like button if you appreciated it. I'd really appreciate that. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.